Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Disney Store Star Wars Premium Elite Series Princess Leia. Now, even though I've had this figure for a couple weeks, I've even had one out and messed with it, but that was before recent events. And then when I went to review it at that time, it just didn't feel right. I felt like I was capitalizing. I felt like I was taking advantage of the situation. So even though I've had this figure out before, I didn't get to mess with it much. And I've been kind of excited about getting this open. So I thought, you know what? Just go ahead and do it. So as you can see, the packaging is exactly like the Darth Vader from a couple weeks ago. In fact, it's nearly the same as the smaller 7-inch scale Elite Series. Big open window. You can see everything that you get here. Window on the side. Pictures on the back. It just really goes through the key features of the figure. It doesn't really showcase the figure itself, which is kind of weird. I'm used to the backup packages just showing off the whole figure, but here's just the weapons, the belt, and her hair. But that's the direction they decided to go, so who am I to argue? Then a bio for Princess Leia. On the other side's more window. On the top, more window. On the bottom, just slate. So yeah, I'm gonna get this open. I've messed with this a little bit, but to see the full articulation, I'm excited. I'm ready to see how she scales with Darth Vader, everything else. Okay, and there we go, all out of the package. And just like Darth Vader, because of the use of cloth here, she was just banded to the box in several places. A lot of places, actually. Even the back of the head to keep the head from rotating, I guess. I don't know why there were plastic bands sticking into the back of her head. Anyway, the sculpting here, it's not quite Carrie Fisher. It doesn't really look like Princess Leia, but looking at the other figures in this line, I don't think they were shooting for exact accuracy. At least in the ones I've seen. It's almost like a generic face. I mean, there may be some likeness there, but it's not Princess Leia. And then the other thing are the hair buns. These are huge. I don't know if it's because of the restrictions of using real hair at this smaller scale. I'm sure it can be done, but here they just look big. They just stick out really far. And also sticking with that for a second, I don't know how much I like real hair on action figure. It almost feels like I'm afraid to mess with it because if those come loose, I'm done for it. The figure will never have this hairstyle again because I am no hairstylist. In fact, there were some loose stray hairs from getting her out of the package, and instead of trying to fix those, I just clipped them off with my handy dandy side cutters. But for the rest of the body, very nicely articulated, and cloth works at this scale for me. It lays a lot better. It doesn't look like a potato sack over the figure. It forms to her. Whenever you put her in poses, it lays right. Now there's black bands holding, I guess, the end of the hair, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave those there. And then on the back here, the belt is actually not attached, but it's made that way to put the plastic tie through it, and I don't know exactly where it's going. It may be going into the body. But I'm okay with leaving it like that. One, the hood covers it up, and two, it keeps the dress and the belt all in the same spot. I feel like that's doing more good than harm. But going over articulation, there's a ball at the bottom of the neck. Great range of movement here. You can get side, you can get side, you can get forward, then you get up. And actually, when I pushed her head down right there, that's, I don't know, it made the resemblance look a little bit better. But straight on, yeah, no. Hinge and swivel at the shoulders, so it hinges up to about right there. Swivels around, but it's going to get bunchy with the dress on. There's a swivel at the bicep. Double elbow comes all the way up. Fantastic range of movement there. And as you can see, it's almost like some of the import joints we've seen. It's multi-layered. Swivel hinge swivel at the wrist. And because of how hard the hand is to pull off, which I'll show in a minute, hopefully, it's kind of loosened the hinge right there. Like we saw with Vader, it just kind of droops whenever you put some weight in it. But you can swivel. You can hinge. I have it set to up and down because she has her trigger finger in, but you can set it to go side to side. There's a ball in the torso. You can get side to side. You can get forward. You can get back. It's not really a ball. It's kind of a slide joint. It's a cut across there, but it works. At the hips, and I hate doing this, but she actually has kind of underwear on, but the hips, they go out to there, then they go forward, and then back, not so much because of the butt sculpt. There's a swivel at the hip. Double knees goes up to about right there. Then we get down to the ankles. It's set up like the wrists. It has kind of a ball joint in between two swivels. So you get great range of movement rocker. You get back and you get forward because the top of the boot is actually a separate piece and you can kind of see that joint in there. It's actually a good setup, but I'm afraid like Darth Vader, this is going to loosen up quick. It gives you swivel there. So I guess you could set that hinge forward and back, but that ball going down into the foot, it works good enough. Then there's a hinge at the toe, and it doesn't have that extra piece like Vader has. A lot of people wrote and told me you could probably shave that off, and you probably could. I didn't even think about that when I reviewed Vader, but Leia, she doesn't have that problem. Now for accessories, Leia comes with 2 right hands and 2 left hands. The right hand, she's got her trigger finger, and then she has kind of a flat hand that you can switch out with it. The weird thing about it, in the package, she had this one on, holding her blaster instead of the trigger finger, which is really odd. And then for the left hand, she has a gripping hand. It's just for holding the weight of the blaster or whatever. And then she comes with the exact same hand. She comes with 2 left hands that are pretty much exactly the same. I can't tell any differences between the 2 of them. So yeah, not much reason to switch this one out. But switching them out, it is so tight. If you can grab that ball joint and pull from there so you're not actually ripping on the joint, it is a little bit easier to get off that way. And then for putting it back on, I suggest turning it this way so you can push from the joint into the hand. So again, you're not pushing into the wrist or that joint full on, but you can see it's already kind of loosened up. And then for other accessories, she comes with her blaster. We didn't see this for very long in the movie, but she did have it. I've attempted to heat it up a little bit to get that little kick out of it, but it doesn't really want to come out. And then she comes with the E11, the Stormtrooper blaster. This seems kind of big for her, but then again, I have to think back and remember that Princess Leia was kind of tiny. Now what's weird about the 2 of these is the Stormtrooper grip is a little bit smaller than her blaster grip. So putting it in the trigger finger hand, it is a kind of a stretch to get in there, but she does hold it. It does look nice. For comparison, here she is with the Disney Store Premium Elite Darth Vader. Looks great. I love the scale here. Vader does tower over her a little bit. And then here she is with the Hot Toys Deadpool. Once again, the Premium Elites are more of an 11-inch scale, so they don't fit with your other 12-inch action figures. So yeah, at the end of the day, I do like this figure. I'm not used to this big a scale. It's hard for me to review them. It's hard for me to display them because I don't have a lot of room as is. But this line is surprising me. It's really coming out of left field, and it's catching me off guard at how much I like these. Now, like I said, the likeness isn't perfect, but during this review, as I've turned the head a little bit and looked at it from different angles, it does capture Carrie Fisher in places. Not for the most part, but yeah, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse and it's like, oh, there she is. There's Princess Leia. I still don't like the hair being as big as it is, but there is absolutely nothing I'm gonna do about that. There's no way I'm unraveling that. But from an action figure standpoint, the articulation and everything, very, very, very nice. I really like it. I don't like how loose the wrists already are. When you put the Stormtrooper blaster in her right hand, it will droop down if you have the hinge straight up and down. But if you have her holding it with her left hand too, not a problem at all. What you're getting here for $35, an 11-inch scale action figure with some accessories that are sculpted really nice. Some nice cloth goods and excellent articulation. It's totally worth that price. The value is here. So yeah, like I said, very, very surprised. I can't wait to open Rey and Kylo Ren and see how they go together. And then overall on a shelf, these are going to look great in a display. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on Fwoosh.